Hey everybody, it's Eric the Horror Man, and welcome to another Top 10 Tuesday. Today I'll be doing my top 10 favorite John Carpenter movies. If you know who John Carpenter is, he's definitely a very recognizable horror director. He's the one who did Halloween, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and all sorts of other movies. And he's definitely a very good director, and he's a good composer for the music that he does for his movies as well. So, Wait, this is my top 10 Tuesday for top 10 favorite John Carpenter movies I really like of his the most. So, starting off at number 10, it's from a Stephen King book, and that's Christine, that he ended up directing. Yeah, so, like I said, this is from a Stephen King book about where you got this car that comes to life, but this nerd ends up buying the car, and then somehow he ends up changing it, whereas he kind of ends up becoming evil, and the car's like making him become evil. And now it's up to the nerd's friends to see if they could find a way to destroy the car and stop their friend from being so evil. So, Christine, very fun movie from a Stephen King book. So, Christine, yeah, definitely not bad of a horror movie. Next, at number 9, is Escape from LA. This is a second part to Escape from New York, because Escape from New York was first, and then they did Escape from LA in '96. This movie does have Kurt Russell in it, playing Snake Plissken again. Only this time, they need him to go and get this little black box that the president's daughter is carrying, but they don't care about the president's daughter. They just want the black box. So, once he gets inside this abandoned city of it used to be known as LA, and that's when all the action and all the fun starts. So I will be upgrading this to the Scream Factory version pretty soon. I just don't know when. So Escape from LA, very fun action movie there. Next at number 9 is, or number 8, sorry, Escape from New York. This is the one that started it all, where you had to Escape from New York and then Escape from LA, like I mentioned. About where the crap, what do you want to call them, military or so, whatever, decides to send in a war hero to go into New York City, Manhattan Island, which has like a containment wall that surrounds the entire island. And the president's plane ends up crashing in Manhattan Island, and they decide to send in a war hero to go in and get the president out within 24 hours. If he fails to do that, then the things they injected him with will end up dissolving, and he'll end up killing Snake Plissken in 24 hours if he doesn't get the president. But if he succeeds, then they'll end up disengaging the capsules in his neck. So, again, this movie has Kurt Russell, Adrian Barbeau, Tom Atkins, Lee Van Cleef, Isaac Hayes, Donald Pleasance. So, pretty good cast. And this movie was actually a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. So, Escape from New York, very fun action movie. Next, at number 7, is Prince of Darkness. I know this movie doesn't get mentioned a lot, but yes, the movie may start out a little slow, but when it gets to the middle, it really kind of starts to pick up, and it really gets very interesting. Where a priest, a teacher, and some other colleagues go into this old abandoned church, and downstairs in the basement they find this container full of green liquid containing Satan. And once this green liquid gets inside you, it just ends up making you just stare off into space like you're not talking or not moving. Just makes you stand there like you're staring off into space, like that. So, and if you try to open your mouth to talk without the green stuff, that person's already got the green stuff, and you go spurt that green liquid out of their mouth into your mouth. If you try to talk and then you end up becoming like them, where you just stay off in space and just don't say a word like you're possessed. Again, this movie's got Donald Pleasance, and you also got Alice Cooper playing one of the street bums. The music to this film is actually pretty good, and again, this movie's not that bad to watch, even though yes, it starts out slow, but in the middle it gets very interesting when it picks up. So, Prince of Darkness, definitely very fun, not bad of a movie. Next, at number 6, is an action comedy movie, and that's Big Trouble in Little China. This is definitely a very recognizable movie that everyone is familiar with. This one's got Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall in it, where Kurt Russell plays a wisecracking, tough-talking trucker who decides to help his friend to get back his girl after she was kidnapped at the airport. And now they have to team up with a lawyer, not only to get the girl back, but they also had to battle a 2,000-year-old ghost who intends on marrying a girl with green eyes so he could become flesh. So, Big Trouble in Little China, very fun movie. The music to the film is actually very, very good. And there are some funny parts in this movie. So, I definitely recommend checking out Big Trouble in Little China. Very fun movie. Next, at number 5, I'm glad that this movie finally got the Blu-ray release because I had this on DVD for a while, and that's Vampires. This movie is just so much fun to watch. This movie still has James Woods, and I thought James Woods did a hell of a good job in this movie playing Jack Crow, where he plays he's a Jack Crow who ends up seeing his whole entire team get slaughtered by the master vampire that they were looking for. So now Jack Crow wants revenge against this master vampire, but it turns out that this vampire is looking for something. He's looking for a certain type of cross, a Brazier's cross that's supposed to give the vampires the power to walk in the daylight. So now Jack Crow and what's left of his team has to put a stop to this vampire so that he does not get to walk in the daylight. The music to this film is actually very good, especially the opening music to the film. Very intense. Every time I think of it, I just get chills and goosebumps and the hair stands up because the music is just very interesting when the movie starts. So Vampires, very fun movie. I definitely recommend checking it out. Next, at number 4, I know some people may not agree that this shouldn't be at number 4, but I know it's a very recognizable movie that everyone loves so much, and that's The Thing. This movie is definitely a very fun horror movie to watch with Kurt Russell in this one, and this movie is basically where a 12-man research facility discovers that there's a alien that was like frozen in the ice for over 100,000 years. But once this creature gets thawed, it begins to imitate the people at that research facility. So now they don't know who's who. So they can't tell who's human and who's the thing. So The Thing, very fun movie. The music to the film is actually very intense. And I know a lot of people claim to be like the favorite and the best of John Carpenter's, but Even though, yes, it is a good movie, but I know this is at number 4, and I know some people may not like it, but that's just my opinion. But it is a good movie, very fun to watch. I definitely recommend checking out The Thing. Next, at number 3 is The Fog. This movie is actually a very fun ghost movie where you got Californians are being haunted by a 100-year-old shipwreck from a bunch of dead sailors that died in this shipwreck. So now it's up to the townspeople to see if they could survive not only against the ghosts but the fog as well. So the music to this film is actually very intense as well, very creepy. So The Fog, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a very fun movie. The remake is not really the greatest, but I definitely stick with the original. Next, at number 2 is They Live. This movie is so much fun. This movie stars former wrestler Roddy Piper, and I thought he did a hell of a good job in this movie, where he plays a drifter who comes to LA looking for a job, but stumbles upon these sunglasses. Once he puts them on, he sees that the people aren't really people, they're actually aliens. And he also sees subliminal messages as well. Like if he takes the glasses off, that person's a human. Puts them on, they're aliens. And also when he looks at the billboard, if he sees a billboard for like a car, puts the glasses on, the subliminal message will show up saying like obey, conform, consume, watch TV, sleep, whatever. The music to this film is actually very good. It's mostly like a blues kind of a music with a harmonica and everything. But I thought John Carpenter did a very good job with the music. And this movie was just so much fun. And Roddy Piper has that recognizable line that's really familiar where he says, "I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum." So, They Live, very fun movie. I definitely recommend checking it out. Now, at number 1, and of course, if you know what's number 1, it's very obvious, and that's Halloween, the original. Well, this movie is so much fun. This is definitely a classic. This is like the father of the slasher horror genre. Because when Psycho came out in 1960, it was like the grandfather of the slasher genre. But when this came out in 78, this was like the father of the slasher genre. That's how this whole slasher genre all started, because of Halloween. This movie is basically where Michael Myers, who ended up stabbing his sister when he was 6 years old on Halloween night because she wanted to stay home, make out with her boyfriend, but he ends up stabbing her. He gets locked away at a mental hospital. 15 years later, he escapes, returns to his hometown to prey on some babysitters. And of course, everyone knows that this is a movie that Jamie Lee Curtis made her first movie appearance that she's best known for. And of course, this movie also has Donald Pleasance, PJ Souls. This movie is definitely one of my favorites, and it's a very fun, classic slasher horror movie. So everyone in America has heard of Halloween, and they've seen it, and they all say it's a very good, fun slasher horror movie. But if you haven't seen Halloween, I definitely recommend checking it out. So Halloween, that's my number 1. Alright guys, so that's my top 10 Tuesday for top 10 favorite John Carpenter movies. What is your favorite John Carpenter movies, and did you like the order I had them in? If you didn't, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And also, what is your favorite top 10 John Carpenter movies? I'd like to know what they are as well. So like and subscribe to your channel, and stay tuned for some more videos. Later.